and whatever have been trying to get an answer from you on is why do you think there's no contradiction?
Well, the question is not really is there a contradiction in theism. The question is, the claim by Tom is that there is a contradiction between pepperoni pizza and God existing. My premises, justify them without appealing to some other person, objector, for that, because that would be an appeal to ignorance. That's my whole claim.
Right.
And what I was saying was that I was not running the inverse syllogism for my benefit. I certainly wasn't appealing to the Darth syllogism. What I was saying that what he was doing was appealing to a prima facie conceivability based upon the lack of apparent contradiction.
That's what prima facie means. It's assumed to be true on first impression.
Right, but what I was saying was that in the inverse syllogism, you can also claim prima facie as well. By which it doesn't demonstrate. Yeah, I mean, if you cannot. I don't think you could come to a conclusion of God existing or not existing based upon a prima facie premise.
Yeah, well, look, this is kind of a separate issue because you're right. You weren't trying to show or argue that God exists or was possible in that conversation. So it's not really relevant to the question that's being asked, except in regards to how you might be inconsistent with some of the things you said there and how you might, or why you might believe that God is possible. So so you're granting that if you were to say that you think that God possibly exists because, it hasn't been shown that theism involves a contradiction. Okay, yeah, that would be irrational.
Thank you. That's my whole point.
But then the question is, why do you believe that it's possible that God exists?
Exactly, and that would require for me for argumentation to demonstrate maybe the necessity and the metaphysical necessity of God. That would be one way. There are multiple ways to provide that, I think. That being one. My only point was that at least if I were to assert the syllogism and I had certain premises, I would not rely upon
Troyer, why are you supporting
someone else.
Troyer,
I like what he's doing.
That was my only objection. My claim is that Darth has not substantiated his premises.
We don't care about that.
Was my objection.
We're not talking about that right now, though. So it's like you can say that was your point then. I was fine with some of the things you were saying then. Not everything, but
look. Troyer, hold on. Okay. You're saying that if something is prima facie conceivable, right, that's operating off of an argument from ignorance. You agree with him on that?
No, he's granting that just so that he can apply it to his own worldview.
Yeah, no, that was one of the things that I don't agree, which is that, let me be clear.
I mean, that would just be a terrible argument against modal monism, right? The prima facie.
We're really getting off the path here, boys.
Look, I do reject, of course, that prima facie conceivability entails possibility, certainly logical possibility, and perhaps metaphysical, depending on what that leads. But look, it's not really relevant here, because I never said that I agree with everything he said in that conversation. I don't, right? Some of the things he said were fair.
That's his main objection.
Who cares about that argument? You're just you're just chasing $10. We're after $100 here. Okay, do you understand?
The point is, Yeah, I mean, we can talk more about that. I just want to kind of stick on what the issue here was, which is that it sounds like he's saying now that, yeah, in order to show that, or, support my belief that God is possible, I'd have to do something else. I'd have to maybe have some other argument for his necessity or some other reason to think that he exists, right? And, but then the question is, do you have something like that? Like, what is it that you have in favor of the possibility of God that isn't the sort of thing that...
Right. And all I'm saying is that, yes, I have an onus probandi to justify my premises of possibility, conceivability. I would say that I would not be justified to claim prima facie based upon the lack of contradiction provided. Therefore, the conclusion God exists is sound. That's what I'm claiming on my side.
That's now you've contradicted yourself, because that's what it means for something to be prima facie, right? That's assumed to be true until proven otherwise.
I understand. However,
until you prove that there's sorry, I'm not done talking. Until you prove that there's a contradiction, you're justified in believing that the thing is logically possible. Okay, that's what it means. So if you agree with the prima facie stuff, but you disagree with the whole method that refers to the prima facie stuff, you're just contradicting yourself. So just say right now that you're just an incoherent mess. You're contradicting yourself left and right.
Well, what I am saying is, in that syllogism, I would not be justified to claim that God existing would be sound.
It's just unreal, man. It's just unreal. Look, you say that there's no contradiction, and when asked, well, I think Grande is working actively our aims here, Destroyer. So unless that's changing, then I don't really see it changing. But
he's just trying to defend his lame syllogism. That's all.
Yeah, we're not trying to talk about the syllogism, right? We're trying to talk.
Well, I'm talking about my side of it. I am. But
we're trying to discuss the bigger conceptual issue, right? We have a bigger problem. I mean, look, Grande.
I think it's a bigger problem if I were to claim prima facie conceivability. That's my.
Bro, you're such
the point is that you said that there's no contradiction, and when I asked you why, you said because they're not mutually exclusive.
And you're talking about the pizza. You're talking about pizza and God. I don't know if Detroit wants to talk about pizza and God.
It doesn't really matter.
Well, of course it matters.
No, it doesn't.
I mean, the point that I'm trying to get at is, like, whether you're talking about just God or pizza and God, it's really the same. I don't.
Correct.
So I mean, you could talk about either.
If you're saying that they're not mutually exclusive, how is that not just a prima facie? Just there's no contradiction.
Well, I'm not claiming prima facie. That's my whole point.
Then what is it? What do you mean when you say that they're not mutually exclusive?
What I am claiming is that if I were to claim that there's no contradiction, it would be incumbent upon me to demonstrate that there is no contradiction. But to claim that there's a prima facie situation where the lack of a contradiction provided that makes it prima facie no contradiction, that would be, in my opinion, appealing to ignorance in order to justify a conclusion that may or may not be sound. Is my whole point. It doesn't demonstrate that it's sound. What's the
difference between saying that they're mutually exclusive and there's a contradiction? What's the difference between those?
Well, I mean, if they are mutually exclusive, then both cannot exist in the same time at the same sense, and therefore that violates the law of the axioms of non-contradiction. And so, in that sense, if it is demonstrated that there is no mutual exclusivity, then you can demonstrate that does not necessitate violation of the law of non-contradiction.
Yeah, but you just when you just defined mutually exclusive, that I don't see how that's different from saying there is a contradiction.
Well, I'm not saying there is a contradiction. You're the one claiming. You're not only the one claiming contradiction. You're reversing the burden of proof and trying to put it upon me to demonstrate that there's no contradiction. That's what
you do have a burden of proof. You said by your own light. You claim that there's no contradiction.
No, well, you're the one that claimed there's a contradiction first and foremost, right? You're the one.
Yes, I did, and I can't support it.
Irrespective of whether I claimed there's no contradiction, if you want to have a debate where you take the positive position and I take the negative position, you'd be going first.
That's fine. So what?
So then you would say, well, I have nothing. Next.
Yeah. I'll do that right now. I have nothing. Next.
But if God existed, the not God world would be a contradiction.
I have nothing. Next. I have nothing. Next.
Wait, Lance, I'm sorry to disappoint. We're not talking about morals.
I have nothing. Next.
But this is where it starts.
I have nothing. Next.
And I pretty much say game over.
No, why would it be game over? You have a positive position too that you need to support. I failed.
This is like Gary Milne at an Asian massage parlor.
What I am saying is this, okay? That it was not the case that I took a negative position to your claim. You happened to ask me what my position was.
You said that there's no contradiction.
As an aside, right? And I certainly answered what I believe to be the case, right? That's a lot different than your claim, your unsubstantiated claim, basically. And for clearly you're trying to shirk the epistemic burden and try to focus on mine when you're the one initiating the claim. And so the sense of prove me wrong, right, in and of itself, right, is irresponsible.
Who cares?
Look, you could just say you don't want to defend the view.
Yeah, I don't want to defend it. Exactly. I've expressed that to Troy many times.
Okay. But
I'll tell you what. It does not. If I don't want to defend the view, it does not necessitate that I can't defend the view. Would you agree?
Yeah, of course. I was just wondering.
Thank you. Because the accusations are used of inability. Now, the conclusion of inability is an appeal to ignorance.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know. I was wondering why it is that you believe that it's possible that God exists. But if you just want to say you're not interested in defending that, okay, you know, I don't know what to say. You're not going to have that conversation. Fine, I guess.
Game over. Lights out. Game over. Lights out.
But all I'm saying is, if I decline to defend my position, for example, all I'm saying is it does not necessitate that I'm unable to, and the claim that I'm unable to is an appeal to ignorance in and of itself.
It's just an inference.
I think there might be. So the fact that you've declined to support it doesn't. It's consistent with that you are able to. I agree, but it might still be some evidence that you're not. Right?
Definitely.
People tend to not. When people have good support for their views, especially in these sorts of environments, they tend to be willing to explain or provide.
I'll give you a good example. Detroit. The question was asked to me, do I deny the Holocaust, right? And about approximately 5 hours over a period of a few days was spent on consistently asking that question. And of course, the accusations were that I was a Holocaust denier because according to their experience, the people who do not answer are indeed Holocaust deniers. I've actually had a person leave the stage because they don't want to share the stage of a Holocaust denier, and all of these conclusions simply because I did not answer that question.
But I don't think that's so unreasonable, right? We can draw inferences like that, even if it's not like necessitated by the fact that you didn't answer the question that you're a Holocaust denier.
You're not obligated to answer.
Like, we question what would be someone's motives for not wanting to answer that question.
I've already expressed them actually. It's either believable or not.
You deny the Holocaust, John.
Yeah. You know, one thing is that people in typical environments, when asked that sort of question, if they deny answering it, it's often because they feel like they would be they would get some negative response for if they gave their honest answer, and that would be, if that.
You little piece of shit.
Just the idea that when we make moral claims, we stand in relationship to propositions. That's all.
I repent of that.
Or to put it in plainer English,
Clubhouse Debates has kicked me out of the room. Because he doesn't like that I'm recording when he's recording, or, just childish.
That's Yahweh, the God of Solomon, the God of Abraham. Okay, those names just take.
God is God. Okay, you can use whatever word you want. But okay, go ahead.
So the Lord of the Temple in the first temple period is called the Yahweh. It's called the God of Abraham. So when during the tabernacle period, when Moses established the tabernacle and God came down to dwell in the tabernacle in the last chapter of Exodus, that was the template that was on for a while till when Solomon decided to build the temple. When Solomon built the temple, God himself came down again. We only know God departing from the temple during Ezekiel, but eventually it took him back again, but that was a prophecy. But the point I'm trying to make is the Lord of the temple is Yahweh, the God of Abraham. Now, if you look at Isaiah 40 verse 3, it says, a voice is calling, clear the way for the Lord in the wilderness, make smooth in the desert a highway for our God. Now, this is a prophecy that Isaiah spoke. We Christians believe, obviously, Isaiah was talking about Jesus. Jesus was the God that Isaiah spoke of. So, now, if you look at Malachi 3:1, why about the God of the temple?
Nothing in there highlights anything about God coming down to earth.
I'm just about to land, man.
All right,
no worries. Yeah. So Malachi 3:1 says, behold, I am going to send my messenger, and he will clear the way before me. Okay? Now,
again, doesn't mean anything. It doesn't.
I'm reading. Peter, calm down, man. Behold, I'm going to send my messenger, and he will clear the way before me. And the Lord, whom you seek, will suddenly come to his temple. I read that earlier to you. Who is the Lord of the temple? Yahweh. And the messenger of the covenant in whom you delight, behold, he is coming, says the Lord of hosts. Now, this is why I speak to my Jewish friends. And no Jew can argue with this fact that there are two people called Yahweh in this passage I just read. The first one being the Lord of the temple, even though the Greek says Adon, but the Adon is Jehovah. And I've shown you Psalm chapter 11 verse 4, the Lord of the temple is called Yahweh. And the two Yahwehs that have been mentioned in Malachi 3 verse 1, which is a revelation that was expanded on from the first verse I read, Isaiah 43. So, Malachi says God is going to come. Before he comes, a messenger will first clear the way, which is John the Baptist. We know that's John the Baptist. And then the Lord of the temple will come. And the Lord of the temple, which we will believe is Jesus Christ, as I mentioned earlier. And then it says, who is speaking? The Lord of hosts is speaking. So we see there's a Lord of hosts different from the Lord of the temple. That's two.
for 1 second. Let me give you an analogy. We have in this country, this is the United States of America, we have our founding document, the Declaration of Independence, and the Constitution with the Bill of Rights. So let's say you say, you know what, I have a right to fly with wings, okay? And you say, well, somebody says to you, well, what makes you say you have that right? I'm an American. It's in the Constitution. So you go, okay, show me in the Constitution. You or me are not going to be able to make that argument. That's why we have a Supreme Court.
Fallacy, false equivocation. You just conflated an exact word fallacy.
What do you mean?
No, okay, you're missing my point. Wait, let me finish. Let me finish. So we go to, hang on, to understand the Constitution, we have these people who are the leaders of the community called Supreme Court justices. So to make this decision to answer your question, you go to the leader of the community, the Supreme Court justice. Or, in the case of Judaism, you go to the rabbi.
And 1 second, Ibn, 1 second. First of all, 1 second, ya Habibi. First of all, if I'm going to make a claim, I have a right to do so and so based on the Constitution, then I aware of it. And I read it in the Constitution. That's why I come to the knowledge and to the information that I have the right to do so. But you making a claim without knowing where is that claim coming from, that's absurdity.
Oh, no, I didn't say I didn't know it. I just said I didn't have to prove it to you. By the way, you guys are not even Jewish.
Then you don't have to engage with us at all while you're here on the stage. Because this is the idea of the stage, is to have dialogue, to talk, to enlighten each other, to know. This is the idea, and if you don't want to prove it to us, then why are you engaging with us at the first place? It doesn't make any sense to me. With all my respect.
We are meant to be light unto the nations. And so I'm trying to shed a little light for you so you can understand something
then
that's
shed
very
light,
foreign
shed light. Bring us the evidence from the Tanakh or whatever. Bring us.
Oh, so you're saying you don't want the light that I'm shedding. You want okay, and I thought, how many times did I answer it?
No, you didn't answer it. We're wanting for evidence. All you're doing is making mere assertions.
No, I'm showing you how it works.
Right,
you don't like the answer.
Based off of what? Where's the evidence?
Based off our community. So let's say you're outside of.
Gets his teachings
I'll try again.
No, we
let's
don't have
say,
to try again. The community.
Okay, well, so you don't want my answer. You just want to sort of insist.
It's just that you're not You're not giving a sufficient answer.
It's like you have your eyes clenched shut, and then you're saying, "But tell me, but show me," but you won't open your eyes and you won't take your fingers out of your ears. So then, what's the solution?
We've deconstructed the premises one by one. So just LARPing that we're merely rejecting it just for the sake of rejecting it is not really a good argument. So go ahead and bring the evidence.
So we all have first premises, right? Every religion, every ideology, every system, every country has a first premise. Now, you can't really argue first premises. Now, I'm assuming, what are you guys? You guys are Muslim?
And I'm saying, show me the first premise.
Hang on. You guys are Muslim?
Show me the first premise.
Okay. I'm trying to ask, what are you guys?
How about you don't ask a question when somebody asks
you
a question? No, it's okay. We're Muslims. We're Muslims, so what?
Bring the evidence.
Okay. No, that's fine. So we both have the similar text. Your religion is built on ours, and we have the same God.
No.
Right?
Bro, listen, we don't need you. You're to us nothing. Your scripture, the whole Bible to us is nothing. It has no authority. Listen. It's corrupted. 1 second, Akhi, 1 second. Billah alayk, I will give you the mic. Your scripture, your religion, you don't have a religion. To us, there is no religion called Judaism. There is no religion called Christianity. The Bible, the Bible. Listen, Narum. Listen. With all my respect, the Islam does not need anything from Judaism. Yes, the Quran talks about Judaism and talk about Jew people, but whenever the Quran used the word Jew, he was slandering you. He was slandering you when he said Jew. But when the Quran wanted to praise you, he said the children of Israel. So the children of Israel, they are welcome. They were righteous people. But Jew, they've never been righteous. according to the Quran. So to us, you have no authority whatsoever. Maybe you can say this to a Christian who needs the Old Testament. Listen.
There's no difference between the Jewish people and the children of Israel.
Please. No, there is a big difference. There is big difference because children of Israel, not just only Judah, there are other sons for Israel also. However, you can say what you said to a Christian who need your Old Testament for him to substantiate his belief. But to us, without Bible, we still exist, right? Keep that in your mind.
Yeah, but I just wanted to know that the Masoretic text came 400 years after the Quran. So please, don't talk about us getting it from you.
So we were formed 2,500 years, approximately, or 1,500 years before the Common Era, and you guys are formed, 600 years? 600 years into the Common Era. So you're about 2,000 years after us, right?
No. Yeah, this is presupposing Islam started with Muhammad, which is a fallacious argument. We believe it started from Adam.
Well, didn't he write the Quran?
How can he write the Quran when the Prophet didn't even know how to read or write?
Well, he dictated it orally to the scribes around him, no? I don't know.
But we don't believe Islam started from there.
So you guys don't know your religion very well, do you? I think it's funny.
Let me give it to him.
You don't know
Let me give it to him, Norm. Musa was Muslim. Isa was Muslim. David was Muslim. Sulaiman was Muslim. Ibrahim was Muslim. They never been Jew. Musa did not call himself a Jew. He didn't say, I'm a Jew in religion.
Right. Well, the term Jew is a modern way of referring to the children of Israel.
Yahud or Yahud?
It goes back much further than that, obviously. It goes back to the 12 tribes, to the children of Israel.
So Abraham was a Jew? Was Abraham a Jew?
Of course he was.
Really? When Isaac was not still born, Abraham was a Jew. When Isaac was still not born.
Forget Isaac, Judah himself.
روح جاوب جاهو لأنه مع كل حق له أخذنا دوره.
Yes. Jaho, say your comment, man. Sorry to interrupt you, man. Jaho, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm listening. Interesting. Just a little bit talking too much, so I cannot find my space here. But okay, coming back to this, you were discussing about the evidence of the authenticity of Jewish
oral transmission, yeah.
And I think I talked about these non-religious Jews, and that's a good way to explain that, to me at least. I would say that because let's say you have a Jew that is atheistic or not very religious, and he thinks Jewish culture has these books that have been inherited from the past. We can be 100% sure that these are the authentic Jewish books.
Just because something is old, therefore it's authentic? Jaho?
Yes, and we can believe that they have come from the history and Jews.
No, you didn't hear what I just said. I said just because something is old, therefore it's authentic.
Yeah, but are you saying
that? Which historian says that?
Are you saying that Torah and other stuff is not made by or carried on by Jews?
Absolutely not. Even Jews themselves don't even think that. We just gave the concept of Tikkun Sifurim. Did you not hear the part where we said that there were 18 rabbis throughout history who changed the Torah in multiple different places, and now we don't know which.
We don't care about that. I don't care about that. Who has changed?
Well, you should care because that's what Jews believe.
No, well, I don't care about that.
So you don't care about what Jews believe.
No. Sorry.
I have to say, with all honesty, you have no idea what Jews believe, and you're not Jewish. You speak for nobody, as far as I can tell. You're just sort of trying to hate on another people. You have no authority.
Oh, we hate him. Oh, hey man, listen.
You don't hate me.
Listen. لحظة يا حبيبي. No. This is an academic.
والله عندي كلمة مهمة ثانية. Norm.
Yes, I'm here.
You do know. Hold on. You do know that the oldest friend I have, who I've known for 11 years, is a Jew, right?
Wait a second. You have a friend who's a Jew? I'm going to write this down in my diary.
Bro,
that's amazing. I have a friend who's a Muslim, so we should all get together. Let's get together and have some hummus. What do you say?
Does that sound like I hate you now?
I beg your pardon?
Does that sound like I hate you?
You hate me? No. What it sounds like.
We're trying to hate on some people.
No, 1 second, ya akhi, 1 second. Norm.
You're violating your religion by hating the Jewish people. Yeah.
Norm. Judaism is insignificant. So you have to be
maybe
something.
It is to you, but I would never say something.
Listen. I'm saying it. You have to be something, so we can hate you. But you're nothing.
I would never say that about your
nothing.
identity.
I will say it.
I don't need to mean anything to you. Look, I never met you before, and I'll never meet you again. You can say whatever you want. Who cares? We've got our entire Jewish community.
Don't make claims. So don't make claims.
I will make the claims. I do make the claims. And you have to disprove them. You have to disprove them. I do make the claims.
The claim you made, the thing is, got nothing to do. So the brother was given citation for scholars.
The claim I make has got nothing to do. That's not even English. What are you trying to say?
I'm trying to say that the brother.
That's what he's saying. He's not.
The brother was given citations. The brother was given citation, and you jumped. You said you don't know what you're talking about. It's just a hatred.
Yeah, that is correct. That is correct.
Yes.
By giving academic references that back up his point is hatred. How?
And now you're coming with this mentality. No. Listen. Let me finish. Man, let me finish, man. And now you're coming with this mentality. You're coming with this mentality that you hate Jews, you are anti-Semite, right? That doesn't work here.
Only based on your actions. Only based on that.
So what type of action when the brother was given a citation of the scholars? What type of action is that hatred?
He's taking a book that is not his and misusing it, which is sacrilegious, to abuse and deny
what do you mean he cannot read?
The existence of another people. It's a huge sin.
He's not even talking
and
about
I am going to pray for your redemption from this terrible sin.
Let's go to Oxford University and see the definition of Tikkun Sipurim. Do you want to do that? Let's do that, right?
I'm having trouble with your accent. Say this again.
Let's go to Oxford University and see
I have a better one. Let's go to our rabbi. Why don't we just do that? Let's go to our rabbi.
Why? Are you saying Jews are not part of Oxford?
No, I'm saying that the Jewish community is led by our leaders, our rabbis.
Thank you, sir. So let's go ahead and read the definition.
What are you thanking me for? So again, I am sorry for you that you take a book that is not yours and misunderstand it, but I can help you with that if you like.
This isn't even a book, you dummy. What's wrong with you, dude?
Oh, I'm a dummy. You're very jealous now. You do want to be us, don't you? You're just jealous of who we are.
No, honestly, no.
You can't figure out why.
Let me tell you, bro.
I'm so jealous.
Figure out why we're still here.
Yeah,
you can't figure it out.
I was an atheist for 2 years. Judaism never ever came as an option across my mind as something I would want to be.
Well, good. It sounds like it would not be a good fit because we don't just take anybody.
Because you're a child killer. You're a murderer. That's why.
No, because we have rules. Do you believe in rules?
No, you don't have rules. You corrupted your rules.
No, we have rules, yeah.
You are a killers. You're murderers.
No, we're not
killers.
No, who did we kill?
أنس مسك حالك حبيبي ما نعصب خلينا أنيقين اللي ننزل فيهم سفر just a sec okay so just give me a sec let me give you تفضل.
So Norm, why would we want to be people who God compared to prostitutes?
I don't know. I think you're praying perhaps to the wrong God. I think you're having
Norm. Doesn't it say that in Ezekiel, the book of Ezekiel, where he compares you to idol worshippers, pagans, and a bunch of whores?
Yeah, Ezekiel 23. Doesn't he call you guys?
I can see from this conversation.
Hold on. Doesn't he call you guys?
Your mind has been corrupted.
You yearned for idols like prostitutes yearned for donkeys with large penises. That's what God compares you to.
Wow. So you're thinking about penises now. This is the way you want to talk.
Ezekiel 23 says. That's Ezekiel 23, verse 20.
Nobody. Your book forces me to think about it because it's there.
You can't blame the text for your words. You can't do.
No. So
bro, it literally says that it's Ezekiel chapter 23, verse 20. Do we know the Torah and the Tanakh better than you do, bro? You never read that passage before?
Do you need us to teach you?
It sounds like your mind has been corrupted with filth. That's
it's
what
the text. Go to a chat.
I mean,
go
just
to
reading it.
Go to chat.
That's
Go
literally
to
what
the
it says.
GPS Jewish Bible. Go to Sepharia. All of them say the word penis in there.
So I study this every day, and I would never disrespect your identity with such filth. And I will pray for you.
It's what the verse says.
I never pray for you. I will pray for you.
For 1,400 years.
I will pray for you to come out.
Norm, for 1,400
the darkness
years,
of your filthy mind.
No Muslim has ever
I will try to shed light for you, okay?
No Muslim has ever bowed down to an idol in 1,400 years.
I will try to be a light for you.
Idolatrous. You became so idolatrous that God compared you to a prostitute brothel that you wanted to be covered.
I am so confused that you think.
This is literally what he says
about you guys. Is this a mental problem of talking to God?
Wait, hold on.
You want to say we're jealous of that?
Norm, do us a favor. Do us a favor, Norm. Go to Google right now. Any version of the Jewish Bible. Go to Google. Since you're LARPing and you're crying with.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go to synagogue.
You're not gonna do anything. You're gonna just.
No, I'm gonna go to synagogue.
It's okay. It's okay.
And I'm gonna pray for you that your soul is not lost.
May I say something?
The prayers of the dogs will not be accepted.
Go to Ezekiel 23.
No, look at Israel. Tell me my prayers have not been accepted.
Enjoy what you have. 1 second. Akhi, enjoy what you have so far because this is gonna come to an end. Right? It's gonna come to an end.
You mean when the Messiah comes?
Shut the hell up, man. Shut the hell up, man. Shut the hell up.
With Messiah.
Whoa. 90% of the world hates you. 90% of the world hates you.
We only get stronger.
All of the only position
and
you
now
have
the Arab
United States and Europe.
Yeah,
no one likes you guys. No, literally no one likes you.
Oh, really?
They would rather
you don't think Saudi Arabia likes us?
One mic.
Saudi Arabia likes money, buddy.
One mic.
Why we not respecting the guests?
Who is the moderator here?
Please, one mic. Go ahead, Eminem. Juho is here. Go ahead.
Too many mods, by the way. Way too many mods.
Well,
very quickly, I just posted an article. I just posted an article that backs up the
who
point
kicked that guy?
The Torah
who kicked Norm?
and the Hebrew scriptures are
I kicked your guests. You're violating
bro. Let's have a discussion.
We
are here to know the truth.
Yo, Norm, how about we just... Who keeps kicking him?
Me. Akhi, I cannot stand his smell.
Please, brother,
he's smelly, man.
To the topic.
Swore.
If he gonna keep yelling on the mic, I'm gonna kick him.
Please, brother, please. I beg you.
Hey, one mic. Okay, Norm. Let's calm down, everybody. Calm down.
I'm very calm. I'm happy.
No, I know you're calm. I'm just saying everybody else calm down. Okay, Norm, you think we're misquoting something? Then be just to yourself and to us. Go to Google right now. Open any Jewish Bible version or any translation. Type in Ezekiel chapter 23, verse 20, and you read it out for us. Since you think we're blaspheming and we're being disrespectful, you read the text and you tell us what it says.
I have it.
Thank you. Is it my turn now? Is it my turn?
If you read the text. Yeah, it's your turn if you read the text.
Okay, now I will respond.
If you read the text.
This is a classic display of ignorance.
Yeah, I said if you read the text, it'll be your turn. Can you please go read the text, bro?
Yeah, so this is a classic display of ignorance.
Okay,
cherry picking a word.
Our whole position.
Understand.
Our whole position is that being a prostitute is not an enviable position. It's not enviable.
Well, I agree
what it says in
you said we're jealous of you, and I'm saying God.
Yes, and speaking filthy words.
It's in your Bible.
It's what the Torah and the Tanakh say, bro.
You have a problem with God then, not with us.
No, I have a problem with people who speak filthy words.
Go ahead with some reading, please, for us.
I'm just gonna read it.
Please stop kicking our guest out, please.
Ezekiel 23. Never mind my parakeet.
No, I got it. I already got it. Hold on a sec. I got it.
I'll read it for you.
Want to understand Judaism? Please give me a ring. I'll be here for you.
Hold on, Eminem.
Please, Norm, please be patient. You're not helping. Let him. خلاص. One of you guys read it. That's it.
Eminem, read it and be like, dramatize it. Have some oomph, It's the word of God. Remember, it's the word of God.
Highlighted stuff. So Ezekiel 23 verse 3, right? And they, the Israelites, prostituted themselves in Egypt. They prostituted themselves in their youth. There, their virgin breasts were squeezed and their nipples were handled. Verse 7, she, Israel, bestowed her whoring upon them, the choicest men of Assyria of all, and she defiled herself with all the idols of everyone after whom she lusted. So the Israelites were just, craving with their tongue out like a dog panting, after idols. And then it says, verse 8, neither left she her whoredom brought from Egypt, for in her youth they lay with her, and they bruised the breast of her virginity, and poured their whoredom upon her. Verse 16, and she saw the sketches of them, she lusted after them, and sent messengers to them in Chaldea. So she basically masturbated to them. Sorry to say it that way. Verse 17, and the Babylonians came to her in the bed of love. In Babylonia, before the exile, where they went ahead and made multiple gods, right, like Baala as well, and they defiled her with their whoring lust. And after she was defiled by them, she, meaning Israel, turned from the
What is the basis of it? Like, how is it coming to fruition for a Muslim who trusts their God, that there is forgiveness? Like, how does that come into effect? On what basis? Yeah.
I would appreciate if you can phrase the question again in one line.
Okay, sorry. On what basis is the forgiveness given?
Got it. So I got your question. So basically, as far as the verses of Quran, and I would say the Holy Book, the verses that has been revealed by Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. So those words says that very, very, very kind of clearly mentions that Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, if He goes.
Of Muhammad alayhi salam, sure. I'm saying to you, either you agree that it does not say it there, and if you believe that it does say, give me the verse and the chapter.
You want the word hadith? You want the word hadith in there, and you're nitpicking. No. And I told you this. This term was used by scholars of hadith to refer to the sayings of the Prophet ﷺ.
You made a claim, and the claim was the Quran says follow the hadith of Muhammad alayhi salam.
I didn't make that.
He will not forgive those sins, and those are actually, kufr and shirk. So, what is that kufr and shirk?
First kiss, the first night, the first song that made you cry, the first drink.
Excuse me, miss, do you by any chance sell cameras?
Hello. Oh my god. No! Stop! Arlo! Oh my god. Wow, we've really done it now. That's it! Keep going! That's it! Yeah! Good boy! That's it! You've done it! You've done it! Arlo! We're stuck!
I'm 28 years old, I can't cook. Yeah. Tried to quit smoking about 6 times. Rarely exercise. Yeah. Rarely exercise.
Arlo!
I'm 28 years old, I can't cook.
Yeah. Arlo! We're stuck!
How cold does it get?
Too cold. It gets like, I don't know, minus.
Where it hurts your face when you walk outside, kind of cold.
Yeah, your bones ache. Constantly.
Yeah, you might be more like Canada than Chicago. Although Chicago got cold, it would get down to 30 below.
Yeah, we get cold, then we get nice and hot, and then we get cold again. Yeah, we don't go full blown Canada like there's still snow and flipping April and blizzards and stuff. We just
you're an island, so you've got a little bit of that ocean effect, affecting your
I just
weather.
don't like bloody cold. We're in the nice part of Britain. We're in East Anglia or Essex, which is the warmest part of Britain. And I couldn't bear living like in Wales or Northern England or Ireland or Scotland, man.
Yeah, that's even further north of where you're at. You're down. I looked at it. You're in Essex.
We're kind of southeast or east south, however you want to describe it.
Right. You're close to the coast, right? On the east side of the island, right?
Yeah. Phil Basin is close to saying isn't a nice part because sometimes, yes, you get the anomaly. I'm not even going to say where you live because I know where you live. Sometimes your weather is hotter than ours, but mostly, if you work it out on a scale, Essex is where it's predominantly warmer, although you get more warmth and a little bit more heat where you are. I'm not even giving away where you live, Salvation.
Are there like cliffs on the coastline near you, or is that more of a?
No.
Okay.
No.
Where is that? Like on the west coast more or north?
That's more kind of down Kentish area, like Dover, where you get the White Cliffs of Dover, literally. Yeah, you got more cliffs that area.
How far is that? South of you, west of you, or both?
That's south. That's south of
Okay.
me.
Yeah. Yeah, the only time I got to see England was the inside of an airport. They locked us up. I told you about that, right?
Yeah.
I was in the military. The whole plane was a military transport, and we stopped to refuel at Heathrow, and put us in this really nice room. And somebody checked the door and went, "Hey, we're locked in here." They were just refueling the plane, and they didn't want these young, GIs coming over from the States getting lost in England, I guess.
There's some places you can get lost in England that's nice, but there's also some places in England where you get lost, it's not so nice. So it'd be like places,
same thing here.
Certain places in London would be like certain places you get in New York. Other places are really nice.
Yeah, some places here are really bad places too. So
yeah.
Even not too far from me. I mean, it's, yeah.
If I go 60 miles west from here, literally that's all it is, because we're only little on 60 miles west from here, I'll be too scared to live. I'll be too scared to live. I wouldn't cope with the stab, the shootings and the hangings.
Wow.
And shit like that.
Really? Wow.
Where I am here, we're okay.
Wow. Yeah, well, you know, in Chicago, the city part of Chicago, I lived in the suburbs off and on for 20 years there, and it was every day somebody in the city is getting murdered, multiple sometimes every day.
Yeah. Anyway, in the chat, he must be he's obviously talking to you there, Sam.
Uh-oh. Hi, Ace.
He got a red shirt?
I don't think anyone's got. Hang on. Check. Evidently.
Well, you got no excuse, bro.
Oh, wow.
Oh, hang on. Can you hear us?
Hey, Matt.
Can you hear us?
Jack Speck.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear? Jack.
Come on, sort your microphone out. We know you're here. We can hear buzzing in the background.
He's got to figure it out.
Yeah, it's getting there. He did come in.
Hello?
Oh, hello.
There you are.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm here. There's so much stuff going on.
Hi, Jack.
Matt, it seems like he has a problem.
Yeah, it's more internet now because he got his mic sorted out. And the other day, when it was nice and clear, obviously certain times, it was nice and clear on a Hangout last week.
It depends on what kind of internet he has. I have the same problem. Like I said, I'm Wi-Fi on a tower.
Yeah, certain times.
Yeah, if a plane flies too low, I'll break up. Well, I hope you get it sorted, man. I'd like to talk to you.
Well, I hope he gets it sorted as well.
But anyway, yeah, go ahead and interrupt whenever you need to, Jack. I think he's getting feedback, too.
Yeah, he's trying to. You can see the audio trying to work. It's just his internet connection, I think, is bad, isn't it?
You got to make sure that YouTube is paused or off. On here, you're just coming through StreamYard. But
he was able to speak a little.
Yeah, he did.